Good evening. In case you're wondering what's on my jumper, I walked through a bush before I came in to film this. So I just watched Shazam, and for what it's worth, it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it, but I have reasons as to why it deserves criticism, which is the case with every movie that you watch. So obviously Shazam is a DC property, and they've been attempting for a while now to break into the box office and successfully win over the fans as well as the general audience, which they manage one more than the other normally. You know, Aquaman made money, but was it a good movie? No, it very much wasn't. So I went into Shazam hoping that it would be alright, and I came away satisfied, I came away entertained, but I came away with some pointers if a DC executive ever comes across this channel. Hopefully they can follow. So I'll use Aquaman as a comparison point. If you know the story of Shazam, you know it's, Billy Batson gets his powers from a wizard and so on and so forth. And he faces off against Dr. Savannah, which I thought was pretty cool that we get a villain that's not really known by the general public. There was also an end credit scene which referenced Mr. Mind, which was cool as well because, it's cool fan service. But I'm getting off topic. What I wanted to say about Dr. Savannah was that, one, it was a good performance from Mark Strong, finally getting a good DC performance, and also that I liked the villain in this movie more so than DC's previous villains. Lex Luthor, that dude from Wonder Woman. I'm pretty sure that was old mate with all the weapons, and I cannot remember his name, and I should. And then there was Patrick Wilson and Black Manta from Aquaman. And the problem is with all of those that I've just mentioned is that they're taken too seriously and DC doesn't understand the tone of their movies. With Shazam, it's a very campy, very over-the-top, yet still somehow grounded comic book film, and it embraces that. It doesn't try to be grimdark or anything like what Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman was trying to be, where it was very dark but also tonally inconsistent with the injections of comedy and other drama elements scattered throughout. Justice League as well. Oh god, that is it makes me throw up a bit in my mouth thinking about Justice League. But yeah, I'd like to praise Shazam for its use of villains as, making the villain fit the tone of the film, is what I meant to say. Mark Strong doesn't take the performance too seriously. You can tell he's having fun with it. And it's the same can be said about Zachary Levi, I hope that's right. I called him Zach Braff once, and that was very wrong. But yeah, Zachary Levi takes his role as Shazam really well. He plays it like how Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool, in that he embraces how campy and how fun comic book movies can be. And I enjoyed that. My problem with Shazam is that it's 10 years way too late, man. If this had come out at the time of Iron Man, if DC had had the immense foresight of the people behind the MCU and had started bringing out their comic book movies at the same pace and at the same rate and brought out Shazam at the same time, it would have been much more enjoyable. But the fact stands that it's too late in the game to be releasing something this average. We've had 10 years of Marvel movies and DC constantly being 3 to 10 steps behind. And it just now seems like they've just nipped at the heels of Marvel. And that's not good enough. You can't be releasing a film of this basic this late in the game. It just isn't, on. We've grown you know, accustomed to tropes and we've grown accustomed to the stories. You can't tell a story this basic and expect us to come away with all smiles and 10 out of 10s rolling from our pockets. That's just taking too much leeway with your audience, you know? You're asking too much of us. You're releasing this basic movie after we've been given stories like Days of Future Past, Logan, Infinity War, Winter Soldier. You know, you can't tell a simple story like this and expect it to fly. I enjoyed it. I will give it credit for what it's worth, but it's not good enough. I won't be pleased if DC think that this is the standard they should shoot for, because it's not. They can't keep releasing movies this basic and expect the general public, and especially comic book fans like me, I have 3 of them now. They can't expect fans of comic books and fans of movies to go to the cinema and come away pleased. You know, I'm proud of DC and I'll give them this one. You know, it made me laugh. It wasn't totally inconsistent and it worked. But that's not good enough. They can't just settle for the bare minimum and expect that to fly for the rest of whatever's slated to release. If they're going to give us a Shazam 2, which I assume they will, then they have to take it a step further. They can keep the campiness, but they have to give us something special. The message can't be family is important. The message can't be something as basic as that. And then, you know, expect us to be pleased with it. I've repeated myself like 6 times, but I want to get it through to them. You know, I come away from Aquaman and I just find it ridiculous. I'd spent the whole time laughing at the film, not with it, because of how, you know, how old hat it is at that. You know, you can't release a movie like Aquaman in 2018 and expect it to be okay, because we've seen stories like that and we've seen, you know, we've seen it. We're jaded as moviegoers now, and it's not okay to be releasing the same thing over and over again. So that's my takeaway for Shazam, if you've made it this far, is it's worth seeing just to see DC get it right for once. And by get it right, I mean they've matched Marvel's industry standard for 2010, which is a long time ago now. It's nearly a decade ago. And that's not acceptable. You know, I want to be going to the theaters and watching my favorite comic book characters in competent films, made well, directed well, casted well, and that's what this was. But you can't keep giving me that and expect me to be fine with it. You know, I can eat my favorite meal once, but feeding it to me 10 times in a week for hyperbole's sake, I'm going to get sick of it. You know, eventually that favorite food is going to become just bog standard, and I don't want that. I don't want to be seeing heroes like Shazam boiled down to their bare bones and, you know, the movie be released as if it's some kind of miracle product. Logan was the perfect example of how to take a comic book character that's been, you know, turned into a campy mess, i.e. X-Men Origins Wolverine, and turn it into a beautiful send-off. Just give us what we wanted from the character from the beginning. So, yeah, I'll surmise it by saying Shazam is worth seeing. I think you'll get more out of it than any DC film released thus far. And please, God, please, can the next DC film not be like Shazam in the sense that it is so basic? By all means, follow by example and take away what went right, which is you got the tone right. Congratulations, you've mastered one key pillar of filmmaking. But take away that and then just do better. Just do better. Because I know that there are people out there that can handle DC films better than they've been handled before. I'm not saying I'm an authority on it. I'm not saying I want to be put in the director's chair or anything like that. I'm just saying there are competent directors out there don't hire James Wan. What the hell were you thinking? Hire people like Old Mate who directed Shazam, I don't know his name, but it'll come to me after this video, who obviously cares about his product and cares about what he wants to make. Ranting about superhero films. How was your night? Oh boy. But yeah, that's how I'll leave it. I'll leave you with watch Shazam, pay money to see it, don't pirate this one, actually go see it. My social media links will be in the description. I'm actually going to update Dylan's Thoughts, finally, the page on Facebook that's been defunct for the past like year. And that record collection deep dive should be on its way when I get the chance. But yeah, social media links in the description. Check out Yasin. Check out some of my other videos. Cheers to Zach for the thumbnails that he's made and the new cover art and banner and stuff like that. Really appreciate that. But yeah, I'll see you in another video. So long.